Do you think China has an upper hand in this Cold War because of their industrial complex and education system? Educational standards have declined significantly in the US, though far better than India. I suppose when you say Vishwaguru, I suppose you're saying India. And China probably has the best education system in the world. What are my my thoughts? Okay. Um, do I think China has an upper hand in the Cold War because their industrial complex, because of their manufacturing overcapacity, their high tech, you know, manufacturing capabilities, and their education system? Clearly, these things, these factors, these are massive factors when it comes to um, where a nation stands in any kind of geopolitical race. So, like I explained earlier, there are multiple factors that go into these things. You need to have resources, right? China has lots of resources, but it lacks some resources, like oil and gas, that it lacks. It also lacks various critical minerals and so on, which it acquires from Africa and other countries. China has the best manufacturing industrial capacity in the world, the best manufacturing in the world. In China is neck to neck with the US in terms of various technologies. The Chinese have really, really invested in human capital, in their education system, the technology which allows them to develop high tech products, the knowledge they have. So unless you invest significantly in education, in science, technology, engineering education, medicine education, you won't be able to become a major industrial power. So the Chinese probably, like you say, I agree with you, probably have the best education system in the world now. They have invested trillions of dollars into their education system since the 1980s and 1990s, and it has genuinely bore fruit for the Chinese. So the Chinese, well, one must salute them, one must commend them for what they've achieved. They've put in the work, they've put in the money, and they've, over the years, step by step, improved their education system to a place where today it is world class, probably the best in the world. So, because of this tremendous human capital quality that the Chinese have, the best education system, tremendous human capital, tremendous manufacturing capabilities, which obviously transforms or translates into military manufacturing also, right? The Chinese are able to now manufacture jet engines and fifth and sixth generation fighter planes. They're improving the submarines. So obviously, this goes into the military sphere as well. So in these matters, in some of these matters, the Chinese have the upper hand over the US. When it comes to AI, they're neck to neck with the US. When it comes to certain technologies, they're slightly behind, but not very far behind, right? So that's the situation, right? So yeah, they are ahead in all the they are ahead or neck to neck with the US in these things. So does this mean that the Chinese have an upper hand in the Cold War? Well, not quite. The Chinese don't have any power projection capabilities. They have no vassals. That's where the US is far ahead of China. The US is also far ahead of China in terms of the space race, way ahead of China. The Americans can deploy hundreds, thousands of satellites, right? The American government has possibly about 10,000 satellites in orbit of various kinds. A lot of these are military satellites and spy satellites, right? And the Americans have like 40,000 or so Starlink satellites, which may also double up as surveillance equipment, possibly, right? So that's where the Americans have an unmatched advantage. The Chinese are doing their best to replicate, you know, uh, controlled landing technologies and reusable rocket technologies, and they are doing good in this. India is not even participating in the race. The Chinese are trying to catch up with the US, but they are still behind in these matters. But when it comes to power projection, the Americans have an unmatched capability. The Chinese can't even dream of the kind of power projection the Americans have, and the number of vassals the Americans have. In terms of nuclear capabilities, the Chinese are far behind. I suspect, possibly, but once again they're trying their best to narrow the gap. So, because of these factors, the Americans significantly have a significant upper hand in this Cold War, right? And the main issue is that the Chinese are not self-sufficient in terms of energy, and the Americans can control the energy flows around the world, and that is one of the Achilles heels of China. The China can weaponize its control over the rare earths exports and rare earth magnets and so on. So it has leverage over the US, which it has built up, yeah, overall over the years through hard work, unlike India. So the Chinese have some leverage over the US, but the US has way more leverage over China. And overall, the US is still significantly ahead of China. in this Cold War. But AI could be the game changer. We'll see about that.